Hello guys, Fuzz here, and welcome back to what I believe is going to be our penultimate episode of this complete walkthrough for Final Fantasy VIII. It's been great to actually finally get back to this game after the previous streams we didn't really explore the game as much as we could have done, plus we never finished it anyway. So I'm happy that we'll have finally have a complete walkthrough for this game up on the YouTube channel, so that hopefully, it'll actually be of use to people. And if it has been of you up to this point, please don't forget to just hit the like button. And if you've enjoyed this, just post a comment letting me know that. So today we're going to be taking on Omega Weapon, who is the hardest enemy in the game. He is an optional boss found in Ultimacia's castle, and without proper preparation he's going to make mincemeat of your party. So we are going to prepare for this encounter, and one of the ways we're going to do that is by making use of what I call the meteor wing, or it's not what I call, I mean the internet call it this, so I'm just copying that. The meteor wing strategy, which involves Rinoa, and it involves a limit break of Rinoa known as Angel Wing. So in order to exploit this, I don't like that term exploit, it makes you sound like you're cheating, but we're really not cheating, it is as part of the game. In order to make use of this mechanic, we need to have Rinoa in our party and give her a specific set of magics. Basically, what Angel Wing does, the limit break, is it puts Rinoa into a kind of magic berserk. So a little bit like normal berserk, your character just hits the enemy over and over with physical attacks. Angel Wing does the same thing, but Rinoa will hit the enemy repeatedly with magical attacks. But here's the thing, when you're in Angel Wing status with Rinoa, her magic stat is increased by 5 times. So you can see right now her magic stat is 255, which is the maximum. When she's in her limit mode, that's going to be multiplied by 5, so it'll be over 1200 or whatever the case may be. So that's going to be a very high magic stat, and the best magic that's going to be used for this trick is the meteor magic, because it's the one magic that can hit multiple times. It hits 10 times consecutively, and with a magic stat of over 1000, you should be seeing meteor hits in the multiples of thousands. So that's what we're aiming for, but because it's a magic berserk state she's in, she can actually cast any magic. Well, not any magic, but many magics, and that's what we want to limit. We only want Rinoa to be casting meteor, which means we can give her cure magics, or life regening magics, and certain status magics, and then the magic we wanted to use, which in this case is meteor. So you can have a look, all these magics, triple as well and double, you can give her safely, and she will not be casting these in battle when under her limit status. But that should be enough to junction her up and get her stats high. The aim is to get her magic stat at 255, and her hit points along with the other characters at max, and her speed stat as high as possible. In my case, I've only been able to get her speed stat to 98, but at least that's something. In terms of her other abilities, then I'm going to take off magic bonus, I'm going to give her speed plus 40%, and then HP plus 80% is almost going to be required to get her max health up, and then magic plus 60%. You don't want to be using multiple magic plus abilities, because that'll be using up slots. So use magic up items to permanently boost her magic stat, as well as magic bonus, and then level her as necessary. I had to get to level 52 with Meteor junctioned in order to get her maximum stack of magic stat, with magic plus 60%, and then auto haste as well. And I'm just going to show you how this works then, this little trick, or whatever you want to call it. Just make sure that one of your characters, in my case Rinoa herself, has the aura magic and the magic command available. So here we have T-Rexor, as imposing as ever. And I'm not going to be able to get to show you on this occasion because Odin's decided to step in. Let's try that again. Okay, let's try take 2. So, we have this monster that we want to kill. Ow! Bloody Odin. I really don't think he appreciates that I'm trying to show you guys some strategies here. Right, do not come. Yeah, look, here comes T-Rexor back. So, First things first, we want to cast Aura on Rinoa here so that she can use her limit break even when not in critical status. And then we use Combine and we want to use Angel Wing. Oops, wrong one. Let's try that again. Oh, there we go. Okay, no, that wasn't the one I selected. That was just Angelo coming to help us. And we're going to use Doom Train here. I probably should have done this first. This will actually inflict Vite 0 and Spirit 0 onto T-Rexor here. But here we get to see Meteor in all its glory. Look at that. And at 10 hits, we're looking at 60,000 points of damage per cast. And Rinoa being in this kind of berserk status will have quite a fast attack as well. And here we go again with our second Meteor. And now we're doing close to over 7,000 points of damage per hit. So that's about 75,000 damage in a single cast of Meteor. So that's the ability we're going to be using. One thing you are going to want to make sure is that Rinoa does not have a level multiple of 5. So I just need to get her up one more level there. And then head over to Ultimacia Castle when you're ready. Here we are, back at the base of Ultimacia's castle. And the first challenge is actually finding Omega Weapon. Make sure all your characters are well junctioned. And that they, if they are level 100, can guard against death. It's the only status that Omega Weapon casts. You don't need to worry about anything else. As usual, make sure you have Encounter non-equipped. Otherwise, you'll have all those pesky enemies interfering with your path to the hardest monster. And we are going to have to switch parties momentarily. There we go. So we need to head outside first and foremost, where we should find a party switching thingy. There we go, so we're going to switch to the other party now. Just make sure that we're not going to get any enemies as per usual. And we're going to take this party over to the right hand side, near where the portrait gallery was, if you remember from a couple of episodes ago when we really explored this place. So we can see there's a kind of chain hanging down, or a bell rope. We're going to choose to ring that. And a timer starts. It says we have a minute, although it takes about 15 seconds or so for this cutscene to actually play. Once that's finished, we can head over to the party switch and switch back over to our original party. And of course, first thing we're going to do is switch back on our junctions. And just make sure that we're healed up. And then very quickly, heading to the next area, where we can see Omega Weapon is waiting for us, and if we run to him, we'll begin the encounter. So the first thing we need to do is cast Aura on the characters we want to use limit breaks, and on top of that, we need to be able to get Vitality 0, Spirit 0, whatever it's called, on Omega Weapon, which you can do with either Meltdown Magic, which I am going to be casting, here is Zell, or with the Guardian Force known as Doom Train, who we have been using periodically. So this guy starts with level 5 death. All his attacks, by the way, are in order. So he always does level 5 Death, followed by either Meteor or Ultima, followed by Megiddo Flame, which is 9998 damage to every character. Gravijar, which reduces the party's damage by 3/4. Then Terror Break, which is an instant kill, followed by, on the whole party by the way, followed by some other forbidden magic, so Meteor or Ultima again. And then Light Pillar, which we saw Ultima Weapon do, which is max damage to one character. And then he goes back to the one after Death, okay, which is Meteor or Ultima. And he goes through that same cycle. So after he casts Gravijar, we need to cast Defend on at least 2 characters. And that will reduce the damage of Terror Break, which wipes out your party, to just 1 character, which obviously is more useful. And we just need to make sure that we keep up our Mega Elixirs and attack at the right time with our limit breaks, in particular Squall's Lionheart and Rinoa's Meteor Wings, as it's become known as. I should say you can also cast hero items on your characters and make them completely invincible. But since this is the hardest boss in the game, it is nice to try and see if you can defeat it without using those items. So we'll see how we get on. First of all, we're going to go to Magic and throw on Meltdown. And then with Rinoa, we're going to cast Aura here. His next attack is going to be something such as Meteor or something along those lines. So if we just wait for that, we can throw Mega Elixir on. And we'll cast Aura on Squall there. Just keep their health stocked up nicely, since Megiddo Flame, which will be coming next, is the one that does a lot of damage. 9998 damage, which is why I said you have to get all your party to the maximum amount of health before battle begins. So now these guys will be able to cast their limit breaks. And we're going to put Rinoa into Angel Wing status here. So the next attack will be Gravijar. In fact, because Gravijar does only a minute amount of damage, a limited amount of damage, you don't really need to do the Mega Elixir until after that attack, but the problem is you do need to defend after that attack. So we'll just defend with Zell now. Whenever a character's not doing anything, it's best to defend with them, especially your defensive character. So we should do some nice damage here with Meteor. This guy, by the way, has a ton of hit points. If he's maxed at health, so max level, he will have over 1 million health. So even with all these tricks in place, it's going to take a bit of time getting him down. As you can see, Squall does a nice amount of damage there. Because we're getting this Gravijar attack, we do need to go ahead now and defend. Because Terror Break is coming up, and that's an unblockable maximum damage to every single character. So just keep defending now until you see that ability. Sometimes if your speed stat's higher than Omega Weapon, you might get a couple more turns in than him, which is why it's super important to just keep defending now. Fortunately, Rinoa will have a very high speed stat with her Magic Berserk status, as well as Auto Haste and everything else you've given her to boost up her stats, so she might get a few of these Meteor Strikes in per turn. Now Rinoa is going to be killed in this next attack by Omega Weapon. But this is what we're aiming for. Look, all these meteors here. Lovely. This is her 4th one. So we'd have done about 300,000 points of damage now to Amiga Weapon. And just keep spamming that defend now. It's not worth trying to sneak in an extra limit break with Squall or anything. Fortunately, Amiga Weapon's not the fastest monster in the game either. In fact, Ultimate Weapon, I believe, has a higher speed stat. So that really does help in just getting a couple of extra of these meteors off, as you can see. So this should push us on to about 380,000 damage now. Which is why I highly recommend using this strategy. So I'm not sure how many more meteors we'll get off before Amiga Weapon will take its next turn. Obviously the more the merrier, as they say. But hopefully this strategy will really help you guys. So he just did a basic physical attack there. He will not be using, as far as I'm aware, his other magics until he does that Terror Break attack, which is why I am just spamming this defend command. His physical attacks won't do much either, unless he hits Rinoa, which obviously we wouldn't want that to happen. But that's just unfortunate if it does. But it's a very good job that he did that physical attack, because that's probably pushed him back quite a ways now in terms of when he's going to next cast his spell. So yeah, I know it's tempting to just throw a limit out with Squall, but it's really not worth it in my opinion. We are doing plenty of damage with this meteor. I've lost count of how many we've cast now. Probably about 8, I think. Which should be getting us close to around the 600,000 damage mark. As you can see, the speed stat is super useful. We're just getting so many turns in here before Amiga Weapon even has a chance to act. And this meteor, the damage it's pushing out is lovely. Remember, we've got 5 times the magic stat on Rinoa there. So, you know, she's got over 1250 in her magic stat. Meteor normally does about 200 to 300 points of damage per hit, but now it's just insane. But you need to get a spell or an attack that does about 60 to 70,000 points of damage, or you'll never kill this guy with his huge amounts of health. Other strategies would generally involve using Squall's limit break, and you can do that. If you really want to cheese this fight, like I say, you can just cast invincibility with the hero items on your team. But I don't think there's really any need to. So here comes Terror Break. Hopefully Zell and Squall, at least one of them will survive if they both got defense active. As you can see, not a pretty attack. There's just no way to avoid being hit by that one. So next we've got Light Pillar, which means we do want to... Okay, we've got Ultima next. So we do want to bring Rinoa back to life. And Squall might die here. But on the off chance that he doesn't, we will throw the Mega Elixir around. Oh good, his Auto Shell did protect him from that death. So next we're going to have the Light Pillar attack, which will one-shot KO one character. So we'll assume that Okay, we're getting a physical attack. With a high evade, he should miss a lot of his physical attacks as well. Let's put Aura back on to Squall here. Okay, so who's he light pillaring? Looks like Zell. Oh, it's Squall, okay. So he's going to be doing more meteors and Ultima on his next turn. Hopefully Renoa should get a few meteors out on him before that point. Her ATB bar will be super fast now, filling up once again. And we still have that status effect on the boss himself, so that he will take that full damage. Looks like we've just about done it, so Squall won't be alive to see the victory there. Which is, I guess, a bit unfortunate, but... you know, the important thing is we've killed him, and we can tell him all about it once we've brought him back to life. So there we go, guys. I hope that strategy was useful for you, actually. You get a 3 stars, which, to be honest, is pathetic, because you can get as many of those as you want now through Triple Triad. 250 AP, though, not to be sniffled at. And let's just bring Squall back to life here. So guys, let me know in the comment section if you find this strategy to be helpful for you. And we didn't have to use any hero items either. If you are struggling, then, you know, by all means, I'll leave it to your own conscience, so to speak, if you want to go ahead and use those items. But, you know, if you set up right, there's really no need to. You can take that guy out. And that brings us to the end of this episode. So next time we're going to finish things off by heading up the tower and seeing what Ultima Seer has waiting for us. So thanks for joining me, guys. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want to be kept up to date with future episodes, and I'll see you soon for Final Fantasy VIII. Bye for now.